offer wellness activities, a cafe free for you to just come in and talk about whatever you're going through, or if you just want to chop it up and tell some old stories, we got you covered here. And today I would like to welcome one of my new friends here in the community, veteran advocate and veteran herself, Army veteran Veronica Morgan from the Home of Record Project. And we're just going to get right into the spotlight today. We don't have any events going on. We have a lot that we achieved last week, but we're going to be showing that in the show notes, and we'll be throwing all of our pictures and successes from that online. So stay tuned for that and check us out on all of our other platforms. So Veronica, welcome to the spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Is it hot enough for you?
It is very hot today.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult coming from the Pacific Northwest to just breathe the air down here. It's wild. And my hair is on another level. It's kind of a helmet today.
I just give up sometimes and just throw it up. I'm like, forget the summer.
I typically wear hats or, so.
Yeah.
But, so today I just want to know more about what it's like to be a female veteran in the service, or a female in the service, and what it's like as a female veteran, and then the whole story behind becoming an outreach director and a marketer and a wellness coach and an entrepreneur, and you hold so many hats.
I don't know what I want to be when I grow up now.
Well, I guess you're involved in a lot of activities as well, and you're traversing your own journey, and you're combating things as they're coming at you. So I see that as very insightful, empowering, and you're delivering that right back to the community. And it shows. You guys are getting a lot of notoriety, and you're so helpful to the homeless population. And I want to know how I can be more facilitative to that, and how we can further collaborate and join in our collaborative efforts as a coalition, because that's what we're both trying to achieve here.
I definitely recognize everything you're doing too. I mean, I never honestly heard about Azura until I met you, and then it's been amazing what you've done in the community. So everyone recognizes your hard work that you're putting in also.
I appreciate that. And we met where did we meet? We met at the Bob Parsons thing, or we met before that?
We met here, yeah. And then you hopped in front of me at the Bob Parsons thing, and I was like, man, who this chick is? She's on it. I need to get to know her more.
Wanda Wright was there. That was cool. I spoke to her today. So it's good to see the same players going to the same large events, trying to promote what they're doing and to, receive more resources to bring back to their agency and deliver that. That Bob Parsons event was really cool.
It was, yeah.
With the ASU director.
He is so inspiring. Like what he does with psilocybin research is just amazing.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Well, let's get into that later.
Yeah, let's do that.
First, tell us why you joined the service. What'd you do? Branch? Years?
I actually joined to get for a couple of reasons. It was around 9/11. I joined in I left 9/11 2003, which was kind of crazy. And I think I wanted to do something different than what my family was doing and everybody else. And I wanted to get out of the Arizona heat. I hated Arizona when I was younger, but I grew to really love it and appreciate it, even the heat. So I joined, and, obviously with every job, there's mixed feelings. You can have your ups and downs of every job that you have. I definitely felt empowered as a woman in a lot of ways, but I also, I think a lot of women go through some, military sexual trauma. You deal with that on a different level, and a lot of women don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be that person. So I never really did talk about that a lot. I realized in the last year how therapeutic it is to talk about issues that I've dealt with, and not to hide everything, because there's a lot of people that are hiding things that they're going through, and they're hiding it because they are afraid of what people are going to think of them. But I think that I'm realizing now that I'm speaking out more about it, there's a lot of people struggling with mental health and stuff. So
that's why you joined.
Because I'm crazy. No.
No. You wanted to beat the heat, and then so you went in, and what happened?
When I first went in, it's funny, I joined as a cook. I love food so much, and everyone was telling me how horrible the food was. So I was like, I wonder if I just go in as a cook, I can be in control of what I'm eating. So
Not a thing.
No, it's not. It's still horrible. But long story short, I went in and I went to a unit that I was told wouldn't deploy in. It was a non-deployable unit for 40 years. So I went to Hawaii. I was like, man, this is gonna be cake. I don't have to deploy. This is amazing. As soon as we got there, they're like, we got orders to go to Afghanistan. So I was like, okay, this is interesting. So we went to Afghanistan for a year, and then I came back to Hawaii. I ended up on an Army ship, which I didn't even know existed in the military, but I really enjoyed that part of it. Obviously, Afghanistan is a whole nother level. We were getting rocket attacked all the time. We were new into this area in Asadabad, and we had 4 cooks. I want to say it was about 4 cooks and 400 people on the base. It was a mixture of Special Forces, Marines, National Guard, things like that, and some there was very few contractors there, but we ended up hiring some local Afghanis to help in the kitchen because it was just such a massive, amount of food to cook, and we were working long 12-hour days. I ended up helping out in the medical station while I was there because the local women could not be touched by the males. So I was the doctor's hands, and I had very little experience. I just gave IVs and, combat lifesaver type of training, which to me was not enough to be cutting into someone. But I did it, and I surprised myself that I was able to do these things that I've never done before. But it definitely gave me a new perspective on just living in America and being grateful for the little things like hot water and, things like that. So it definitely puts a new perspective on life for sure.
How old were you?
I think I turned 19 when I was in Afghanistan, and it's crazy to think about that now that, at 19 years old, I was in a war zone. Like, you never expect that you're going to be in that position.
Yeah, it was a huge culture shock for me.
Right.
Just landing on the ship out there.
Yeah.
Just blew my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
It totally gives you new perspective.
Yeah, and then seeing, just landing in Djibouti, Africa, and then seeing how people live their lives out there, how they had to trek for water.
Right.
And what we had, and, in these cooling environments, we had like glass bottles of Snapple underneath one of our tents, and then you see these. I was just looking for, yeah.
It's crazy that they will literally fight over a bottle of water, and you don't think about how lucky we are just to have clean water, hot water. Definitely puts a lot of things into perspective for sure.
How did that change your overall mindset coming out?
I think when I came back and I would hear, if I hear like a family member or something complaining about something, I'm like, you have no idea, like what you have available. Even today, you see things on the news, and you're just like, you have no idea how lucky you are to have the opportunity to build your own business and have the opportunity to work as a woman. A lot of people don't have that right to do that.
Exactly. So you did, what was your tour? How many years?
I was in the military for 3 years. I did 1 year in Afghanistan and 2 years in Hawaii. So I did get a little bit of nice time there, but I ended up on a ship when I came back from Afghanistan, and it was called the LSV, low speed vessel. They have an HSV, which is more for tactical type stuff, but it was two cooks, and then we had I think 30 people on the boat. They call it a boat because it's a lot smaller than a lot of the. Yeah.
They call the big ones a boat too.
Yeah. Okay.
What was the mission of it?
We would just transport equipment from Oahu to the Big Island, where they did a lot of training, and I was the cook there. And I enjoyed it because we never really got inspected, so I would get a little bit more creative, and I really enjoyed that. And sometimes it doesn't even sound like the Army, and I don't even know how it is now, but the officers would go fishing off the boat, and they'd bring stuff back, and it was cool. It was just like a good way to finish out that last part of my military time.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. Going over there and life-saving, and That's amazing.
Yeah, I definitely, it was a lot for the 3 years that I was in, you know? And I think for me, like, I served 3 years and I had such a hard time surrounding myself with military people afterwards because I only served 3 years. And I always downplayed that. And because I was a woman, I downplayed the fact that, you always get those type of, I don't know, obstacles that you put in front of yourself. And once I realized that I can still serve my community, I don't have to finish 20 years. That's when a lot of things changed for me.
So you didn't want to reenlist
I did. At the time I
or
was
change
married.
your MOS or anything?
No, I enjoyed cooking. I did. I probably would want to do something a little bit more like MP or something like that, more tactical, I guess, to be more badass. But I ended up breaking my leg shortly after.
Oh, damn.
So, and I tried to go back in, and they were like, "You have to get your medal out." So I went and tried to do that, and they're like, "No, my foot almost did like a 180." So that was not going to happen. But maybe now, I know they're accepting a lot of people now.
Oh yeah.
But I'm too old now, so.
So were you married in the service, or did you get married afterwards? What happened?
I got married in the service. Yeah, we kind of did it to stay together because we were not sure, and he was getting out at the time. This was a previous marriage, so I ended up getting married so we can stay together. He was getting out, so.
Okay. So you were, inspired cooking and everything. Do you cook for your family now?
I actually went on to do culinary school, and I love cooking. I used to have these like really big Thanksgivings with like 40 of my family members, and it was like my favorite holiday. But kind of like things have changed a lot, and I love cooking, but also I'm exhausted. So right now I do like quick little recipes, but I love it. It's my therapy for sure. It's just different when you have a kid. You can make like the fanciest meal, and they're like, I want chicken nuggets, and you're like, oh, I could do that.
Right? Chicken nuggets. Okay.
Right.
I like once a week. I'll do like I don't bake, but I do like protein balls or something. I try to do something once a week in the kitchen that's not like I have the same breakfast every day, and then I try to
just change it up a little bit.
Yeah, just to make it easier because we get really busy, so it's like something to give you a little energy throughout the day that is healthy and nutritious, and it's not some processed form of whatever that's next door.
I know, and it's crazy when you eat processed food, you literally feel it in your mental health, physical health, everything. And so the last week or so, I'm like, I need to buckle down, and I've been meal prepping, and I bought a little like container to carry everything and make it a lot easier, and it's crazy. I feel so much better. I don't know why I fight myself so much to eat healthy, but
well, it's the discipline of it.
Right. Yeah.
So you set yourself in a goal.
Right.
You're like, how can I achieve this goal? I have to break it down in these small components and just do it on a Sunday or whatever the beginning of your week is, and like shopping and everything.
Yeah, just get it done.
I started meal prepping 3 days instead of like 4 or 5 or 6 days.
Right.
That way
it's fresh.
It's
and you
fresh,
still
and
wanna eat
I have that break in the middle of the week. Like, okay, now I get to re-up and I get to take care of myself again. And be like, were these dishes something that sustained me?
Right.
And checking in with myself. Like, how was my mood? Was there too much of this and less of that?
Yeah, and I think when we do that, where we evaluate, like, is this really making me feel good? Is my gut feeling good? Is my mental health feeling good? Is my energy feeling good? Then you can dial it in and really see, is this what's working for me?
Yes, trying to acquire that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Why do I have a headache? And it's like, then you pop a pill. It's like, well, why do you have a headache?
Right.
Okay, you can alleviate it, sure.
Right.
But why is it coming up? Like you didn't have one yesterday. Would you eat yesterday?
Right. Did
you train or did you not train?
5 shots of espresso or alcohol.
A little too much coffee for me yesterday. I was coming down really hard last night.
Yeah.
My brain was like, that was too much. I'm like, okay. So it's probably because I was drinking too much coffee and not eating enough.
Yeah, that'll do it.
And I was like, I'm saving half of my smoothie for later, and I should have just finished it. And that probably would have given me the energy I needed instead of reading up on the caffeine.
Yeah.
But I took note of that last night. I was like, I don't want to feel like that again. So I only had my cup this morning, and I haven't re-upped on it.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard, especially with coffee, because it's just like
But it tastes so good. It's so
Yeah,
unctuous.
right. Tastes so good, and it makes you feel energetic at the moment, but later on you get the crash.
I've been doing squats in the office like every hour because
Yeah.
there's a lot of work going on right now, and I'm
Right.
like I'm at my desk a lot, but I have a standing desk, so I'll
Yeah.
just every
Oh.
hour I got a little timer on my watch. I'm like, okay,
That's a
10 to
good
20
idea.
squats, just go.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I just signed up for 75 hard again, and I started doing it. I'm like, why did I do this to myself? But I need to like have that reset.
you need
know?
to have some accountability too,
Right,
right? It's something to
exactly.
check off on the day.
Exactly, yeah. And I have a friend that's keeping me accountable too. So
Even better.
right,
Yes, find an accountable buddy.
yeah.
You know? So, all right, you went to Cordon Bleu.
Yeah, I went to like Cordon Bleu in Austin, Texas. Yeah, it was super fun. I made a lot of really good lifelong friends, and I enjoyed it a lot. I ended up leaving and graduating, and then I moved back to Arizona, worked in some restaurants and Brio Tuscan Grill and Chelsea's Kitchen, some nicer, nice end restaurants. I did a little bit of private chef type stuff, and then I just realized that my body couldn't really take it anymore, and the pay was just really not that good either. I mean, I was working a lot of hours, and yeah, I decided to go back and work for my dad for a little bit.
I worked in the food industry for a long time, decades. It's definitely really hard on the body and your values.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you surround whoever you surround, like the 5 people you surround yourself with most is like you're gonna start taking on those traits.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and that's Party City for sure.
Yeah, then not too much good came of that.
No.
But so
Late hours.
I shifted and did something different. I mean, it taught me a lot. You
Right.
know, I learned what I can get through and what I can
Exactly.
overcome, and
Right.
and I got to meet all kinds of people from everywhere and learn different trades.
Yeah.
So that was cool. But ultimately, you know, I wasn't fulfilled.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it was chasing, you know, it was chasing money, it was chasing tips, it was chasing, you know, but I didn't want to be any of those things.
No, I definitely felt like I wanted to impact more people and help more people, and I didn't feel like I had that connection working in the kitchen, you know. And I think, you know, I was okay with being in the kitchen because I was very introverted, and I was okay not talking to people, but I definitely wanted to impact more lives.
Yeah, I feel like I spent more time talking to the person across the bar than actually like trying to make a difference with somebody else's money, you know, trying to build up somebody else's bank account or helping them figure out something. And I enjoyed doing that, but I felt like I was giving all of myself to something else that wasn't benefiting me.
Exactly.
So I would have like conversations with people about mental health or about school or about like the Navy vet we had on last week about environmental impacts. And I'm like, I don't belong here. Because I was in college for a lot of it too. And I was learning all these things and I was sharing it with, you know, my guests at the bar or in the restaurant or the cafe. And those were the things that lit me up. I'm like, I need to go that way where those things light me up. Because after that conversation and they're done with their meal or their drink and they're gone, and I'm like, okay, well, I want to keep having that conversation. I don't want to have these conversations or hang out with these people. I want to go do those things. So we definitely have peaks and valleys in life, and opportunities. Opportunities define us. The ones that we grab hold of and the ones we miss.
Right.
They all define us.
And I think that when you interact with people, sometimes that person was put into your life for a reason, you know?
A reason or a season or
Yeah, exactly. And so when you have those conversations with, you know, customers, or you see, you know, I would go to these catering events and I would see these amazing parties and fundraisers, and I'm like, one day I'm going to be on that side, you know? And I think you're put in these different positions to do better and put, you know, you're around people that, you know, there's a reason they're there. And I don't know, I feel like everything in life happens for a reason. You know, and if that's to get you to a different place, then that's, you know.
Yeah, and I think after the end of any season is where massive reflection should come in and take stock of what happened.
Good or bad, yeah.
Yeah, good or bad. I'm in that place right now. I'm taking stock of all the events from the last year and the year before that and recognizing patterns and recognizing what I have developed
Mm-hmm.
and what I still need to develop, right?
Right.
And
Exactly.
my values can shift and change. And, you know, the people around me change too. The people who knew me know me differently now. I think we all have different versions of ourselves that we show different people.
Exactly.
And it can seem inconsistent.
Right.
And I want to show up consistently through anybody who crosses my path. And
Right.
instead of wearing a mask, and you might have to do that in certain situations, to, you know,
Right.
to cater to your audience, what have
Right.
you. But I want to be able to be as authentic as possible and be like, this is my story, this is my truth.
Exactly.
And whether that's accepted or not has nothing to do with me. You know,
Exactly.
what other people think
That's
has
their-
nothing to do with
no,
me.
because it can be different the next day. I kind of learned that. I'm taking this leadership course, and one of the things that they said is just be your authentic self, lead as yourself and not as what other people want you to lead as. And that like really resonated with me because I always felt like I had to fit in this bubble and pretend to not have a past and, you know, be this perfect person. And you don't have to be that because people don't learn from perfect people, you know. So
And and you can tell when someone's not being authentic and genuine.
yeah.
And then trying to hold the facade is just so much energy it strips away from you.
Exactly.
And then you make decisions that aren't based on your values, and then regret comes in, and then you have all this cleanup to do. And it's like, I could have, would have, should have, all this
Right.
stuff. And it's like, just show up as who you are. And
Right.
I'm totally
Exactly.
projecting right now.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's my reflection in the year. And
Right.
I try to do it with the lunar cycle, like every full moon,
Right.
make a new intention, see what I'd done last month. Did I follow through with my intention from last month? And try to recharge
That's
as often as possible.
so good to set goals, you know. It's really
Yeah,
good.
goal setting, breaking goals down into smaller goals.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say the other day, like, I just can't get started on this project. And the other woman said, well, maybe the first step is too big. You can do it, but
damn.
that first step may be too big. So just break that first step down a little bit.
That's so true.
That hit me, and I was like, yes. You know, I'm like,
That's
I
so
know I can
good.
do that thing. I just
Yeah.
getting started here. And
Yeah.
so I started reaching out to people, and I have a few female mentors out here who it's so weird. Like lately I've been having all these synchronicities,
It's
and I would be thinking about calling somebody for some advice or for some guidance, and they call me or they reach out to me, and I was like, that happened to me twice today with veteran community members who I was like, I'm going to call her, or I need to call him. They both got a hold of me before I got a hold of them. I am
That's
not
great.
lying.
That's
I was like,
that just happened to me not even an hour ago. I was talking about we need more housing. I was texting with our the Home of Record project, and then someone said in the room, they said, "Hey, do you need more housing?" And I said, "Matter of fact, I do."
like,
yeah.
That's awesome.
crazy.
So I believe that's like it's letting you know that you're on the right path, right?
Exactly,
People are
that's-
you're in alignment with your truth, your journey right now. So I'm like, okay, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be right now, and I can honor that with myself. I'm like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be at. So this is where I'm putting all my focus and my energy, and so trying to get rid of the distractions and really come back to who I am and my why. We talk about our why all the time.
I think that's the hard part for me is I want to do so many different things. I am very passionate about the Home of Record project, and that's where I want to be. But I definitely get distracted, and that's a hard part for me. But that's where my North Star is. That's what I want to do.
So after culinary school, you went to the Home of Record project.
Yes. Yeah.
How'd you get there from that? That's a huge leap, right?
Yeah, and like I said before, I had a hard time getting involved in veteran projects because I didn't have the confidence that I served enough or did enough. And that's one thing.
That's common.
I know, and that I didn't realize that until I served in a veteran community is how common veterans feel that way, even if they served 20 years or even if they deployed so many times. So it's something I overcame. I worked for my dad for off and on my whole life, and he helps homeless addicts with housing, and they do have like case management and all that stuff. But I realized I was missing that veteran component, and I reached out to Gary at the Home of Record because I noticed that he was dealing with veteran housing, and I felt like I could fit that need there because of the experience with my dad, and it's just been amazing since I've been there. I found my people, so
That's
I really
great.
enjoy it. Yeah.
What's your role there?
I am the director of community outreach, it was interesting for me because I mean, I did that with my dad, but I struggled. I've always been an introvert. So for me to like get out and meet people and put myself out there, I lack the confidence to do that. And I don't know. Right before I met Gary, I went through a lot of therapy, like ketamine therapy and psilocybin therapy, microdosing and stuff. And I realized I just came out of my shell. You know, I realized that if there was other people that I didn't respect doing what what I want to do, then why can't I do that if someone else is doing it? You know, so I just put myself out there, and it's been really great.
You said I lack the confidence, and
Yeah.
I love Mel Robbins. Okay, I have a lot of gurus, but I love her, and
Right.
she says that confidence is a skill that you build. So
Definitely.
like I'm actively building more confidence.
Right.
I have a lot of confidence in certain areas of my life, but then in other parts, I think it's because I don't have the right tools to do my job better.
Right.
Then I feel less confident. I'm like, I'm still
Exactly.
confident that I can do this. I'm
Right.
still confident that I can get on the show and do what I need to do and evolve over time and get better every day because I'm researching, I'm finding new tools, I'm just my delivery and my understanding of the things that I'm trying to be more confident in. I'm like,
Right.
well, I'm not confident in it because I don't understand it well enough.
Exactly.
But I don't think anybody lacks confidence. I think they lack skills
Yeah, definitely.
and the tools are there. They're all laid at our feet. We just have to pick them up and try them. If they don't
Right.
work, then let's try another one, right? Right? That's what I was a mechanic in the service, and they're just like, you find the right tool for the right job, or the right tool for the job.
Yeah, and I think
you
just,
can't.
like,
and if
putting
you
it-
don't,
right.
you're gonna. I cuss too much.
Get it.
You're
Cuss, I
gonna
don't
you
care.
mess up the component that you're trying to replace,
Right.
and then the mission gets delayed.
Exactly.
And then there's a whole, you just propagate all kinds of negative. Then you lose all kinds of
direction.
and then you lose that self-esteem, or then you start beating yourself up when you could just come back and be like, I'm gonna do it different next time. Okay. Instead of sitting in it
Yeah.
and saying, like I shoulda, coulda, woulda, and you
Right.
could sit there in that, or you can, recalibrate,
yourself-
shift, move, and do something different.
Yeah.
Own it.
Put yourself out there. Yeah. I think for me, it was like just even if it was uncomfortable, I was going to put myself in these positions, and pretty soon I just started building onto that.
And how fruitful has it been for you?
Amazing. Yeah. I've done things and connected with people I never thought possible. You know, I could never imagine myself being on a podcast. But I just kept putting myself in positions even though I made mistakes, and it's been really amazing.
What's one of the coolest successes you guys have had? Because you guys have a lot of success.
I would say the grants that we've achieved. We're only about a year and a half old, and as for a nonprofit, as you probably know, it's really hard to get funding for a new nonprofit, let alone an older nonprofit, let alone a new nonprofit. And we have a team that is very dedicated to putting in the work to get it done. And we have all come together, and I'll try to reach out and find grants, and then Whitney will put it. Whitney, Gary, and Joe will all put it together. We have a lot of really good volunteers that have helped us, and they're a huge part of the success, which I'm sure you probably have had the same experience that, you find a good volunteer, you ain't going nowhere.
You're not going anywhere. Nanette Molina, she's Army Sergeant. Yeah, amazing. Our volunteers, definitely. We need more of them. We need
Right.
more people to help us continue this mission, because
Right.
as we evolve, we get larger and larger, and we can impact more people.
Exactly.
And having other organizations on the show helps us do that. Let's
Exactly.
increase the impact that we can have on the community by working with a coalition, by, I do not like when people say duplicating efforts, because when I had
There's so
Emilio
much.
Driscoll on here from Soldier's Best Friend, he's like, the need is so large.
Right.
The need is so large.
Yeah.
And the funding is just not there for the need.
No.
So I feel like I'm in a new situation now, becoming an independent organization, not having what the future directors had, coming down the pipeline. We don't have those donors anymore.
Exactly,
We don't
yeah.
have the funding coming, but we have the clients walking in the door. That's still active. That's
Exactly.
still a line. That's still a need that's very big. I mean, that vein runs real deep,
Yeah.
and you're feeling it too.
Exactly, yeah,
And we're not even that far from each other.
No,
So-
it's getting to be stacked up. Our housing is completely full. We need more housing too. So, and funding also. It's a huge need among a lot of veteran organizations. And even if we have someone volunteer, that's a huge help. Someone that's very qualified to put in the work and do that. It's a huge contribution to an organization also.
Yes, qualified to the specific need that you need them to fill.
Exactly.
Your housing situation, how does that work? You guys rent out places, or your dad has some places. How does this all work?
We haven't rented or any from my father. Gary has an Airbnb that he blocked off. Initially, it was just him. Anytime a veteran needed housing, he would just block that off and donate this time for a veteran who needed assistance. And then we acquired another property. A friend was willing to rent it out to us, and that's how we acquired another property.
So what do your properties look like? What are they?
We have one in Gilbert. I believe it's 4 beds, 2 baths. We have a family there, so we do help veterans and their families. And then we have another one in Mesa. I believe it's 6 beds. It's funny because I set the whole thing up and I can't remember exactly the amount of beds. I believe it's 6 beds and 3 bathrooms or 2.5 bathrooms. And it's just right here in Mesa. It's just a regular house, nothing fancy. It's very very nice. It's not like super nice, but it's a very regular house. We have very comfortable beds. We provided all the kitchen supplies and furniture and all that for them.
So it's for men.
Right now it's co-ed. So the reason why we ended up opening up beds to make it co-ed, because sometimes that can be an issue for both parties. But we did open up housing for women because the demand was so high. Like we had 5 women that were waiting. We had beds available, and we said, why don't we fill this need? And one of our next goals is to open up a woman house because
Yes, that'd be awesome.
yeah, a lot of organizations focus mostly on housing men and single men. They don't focus on families or women, and so we are realizing that there's a huge need for that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's Ashley's Place with U.S. Vets that helps them with their transitional housing. There's a whole program there that they must go through also.
Wow.
So, and it's not a lot of people need something different,
Right.
So what you guys can do, housing the people that you can house with your program assistance might look different to somebody out there. Like, I don't want to, a lot of people that I send from my center do not want to go to U.S. Vets for whatever reason that's justifiable to them.
Right.
And I was like, well, we're going to have to send you through SSVF or get them to NCHP. And then we have to send them downtown Phoenix to go to the CRRC to get referrals. And I wish we could do more direct services here, like just work together and be like, Home of Record Project has another facility,
Right.
and I can help them with all of their needs here, whether it's education, workforce development, or get their benefits, everything going here, and then have them work with us through case management, and then have them be housed with you guys. That's the coalition piece that I'm talking about here.
Yeah, I definitely think that would be a great collaboration. And I honestly don't know a lot of what other organizations do, but from what I've heard, there's a lot of loopholes to jump through. But that's something that we hope that we can offer more immediate housing. So.
Yeah, well, there's a giant need for it, and we need to be doing more. And there are a lot of things happening in Phoenix and on the west side. There's some development going on. But here in Mesa and in the East Valley, we need help. And we need faster processes.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I don't think in Arizona you could be on the streets for 24 hours. It's so dang hot. And
we are a cooling center for Maricopa County Heat Relief Network.
Gosh.
So we have
Great.
been donated 100 cases of water, so people can come in here and get off the street and get some cooling. Veterans and their families are welcome to come in and cool off, and because
That is
it's
so great.
while they're out there, trying to find these resources to make sure that they can get through whatever stressor that they're struggling with right now, whether it be their car, their rent, their utilities, or they're waiting for their benefits to come through, or something got tripped up, or just Murphy's Law, everything happened all at once. And I had a friend the other day, she's like, life's got to be a joke, right? Because sometimes
Yeah.
the ceiling just comes down on you.
And you don't even see it coming. Could be
Or maybe you did, and maybe you had a hand in it.
Right.
And it's time for you to face it. But it doesn't mean you need to be out there suffering and struggling and having to deal with all, the weather on top of everything else. And
Exactly.
so, and I think when you're overheated or if you're really cold and you're hungry, you're not going to make the right decisions.
No, you're probably not thinking very clearly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there is
Or-
a lot of resources available. And, that brings me to basically say that a lot of veterans, I think, struggle to ask for help. I think they struggle to ask for help. And, those resources are there. You just have to be willing to put in a little work to find those resources, put yourself out there. And I know a lot of times it can be, you can get a lot of closed doors and things like that. But there's a lot of people that want to support you.
Yeah. And I want to be able to say that when they come into our resource center that they won't have to navigate to find all the resources. They're here now.
Exactly.
We know who's got the funding, who's got the services that are unique to the individual, the tailored assistance just for them, the wraparound services that we offer as a community. So they don't have to trek through all of this and go up and down the light rail or, their car's overheated, the AC unit's going. And
Right.
I've just seen so many different scenarios come through the door, and I'm like, it frustrates me that they have to go through this.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I'm like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah. They have
And
nonstop phone calls and things like that, I'm sure.
more of an SOP, like a, standard operating procedure for these individuals for unique instances. But it's not, life doesn't operate like that. So we
No.
have to be on the ready for whatever comes through the door. The only thing that I know that we can stay constant with is knowing that the human body gets under stress and then we go into fight or flight mode. And we know how to come down from that. We know how to settle the nervous system. It's just getting the person to do the techniques with you. And I know that I've been practicing that for a long time, and you're also into that wellness sphere as well, right?
Yeah, I am obsessed. I've tried everything probably, but I really do ice baths every day. I do breath work, not every day, but that
You're crazy. No, it works for you.
Yeah, it
Okay.
does. Yeah, and you got to find what works for you. But I've tried ketamine therapy, psilocybin, microdosing, and all of that has just been such a good combination to bring me out of my shell and really help with any mental health struggles that I was having.
That's awesome. You're going to a floating thing?
Yeah. Last night I went to breath work, sound bowl.
Oh,
I
cool.
always say sound bath.
It's a sound bath.
Sound bath. Okay.
Yeah.
Sound bath, and they had the music, and there's a place locally that I really like to go to called Reconnect Mind Body, and they do ice bath breath work, red light therapy, and it's amazing. So he was doing it here at this Revel Surf Park in Mesa, and it's amazing. It's just like a meditative type of state. And I brought two of my friends. They were just blown away. It's crazy because you could get so deep in breath and you don't even realize it, but you feel like your body's floating. It's almost like an out of body type of experience. And people don't realize when you do breath work heavily, you release DMT, which is the same chemical that you experience right before you die, and it's a very warm, calming type of feeling. So it's a very intense, deep breathing. It's not just quiet breathing. You're breathing in super deep and
It's an
exhaling.
intentional diaphragmatic, and that's
that's a
amazing.
workout. Yeah.
Man, I should have gone to that.
Yeah.
But
Next
I do.
time.
Christy Cuddy, Navy veteran. She runs the Mesa Youth, our agency next door, and she runs sound baths. Like during the full moon or new moon, and she's
Nice.
awesome. Like Reiki instructor, and has all of the instruments in there. And it is like a lot comes up when you're able to lie down and settle the body and just allow things to pass through you and not hold on to them or entertain those thoughts and just focus on the breath, keep coming back to the breath. And you're in a safe place. It's really hard to feel safe when you're in your most vulnerable
spot.
Because when you're breathing like that, when you're deep breathing like that, it's hard to be vigilant and so it takes a.
It's a workout. It's funny because the first time I went to one, I was like, what is this hippie crap? Like, I am not into this. And here I am like a year later, like, oh, breath work. I want to, and I've totally dived into it and I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I want to get some of those practitioners over here in the lounge so we can offer that.
That would be, I can see if I can arrange that. That would be awesome.
I sent you the Rolfing thing, right?
Oh, no.
I sent you an email with the Rolfing, ROLF.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That's another avenue to go down.
Yeah.
There are just so many holistic practices outside of allopathic medicine that have completely transformed my life.
Yeah.
And my perspective on life. Because the conversation that happens in these groups is completely different.
Right.
And it's about whole health. We had the wellness event here with Quiet Waters with Kaimisha Guy, Navy veteran, and her naturopath doctor who was here discussing all of these modalities. And it's just amazing talking about the meridians in the body and how we can flush out all kinds of stress and pain and mental, and the clarity that comes from it.
I think that's what's crazy is like people don't realize that trauma that you've been through will actually be trapped in your body and your nervous
issues
system.
are in your tissues.
Right. Yeah. I read this book called The Body Keeps Score. It's been
it was up there. Where'd my book go?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Amazing book.
Yeah, I've been pointing to that because I've given several copies out to people.
Yeah.
My dad read it and then he goes, now I understand you.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing for sure. And it kind of makes you realize like all this pain that veterans are dealing with, it could be emotional things that they have not dealt with or like released, not always, but.
And then we don't know which trauma is being processed because it could be from a car accident.
Exactly.
It could be from when you were spanked as a kid.
Exactly.
It could be when you got slapped in high school for saying something to
Someone
somebody.
knocked your Legos over.
I'm just saying. Or when you get scared. I had during that wellness event, I had a Marine come up and kind of just spook me from behind.
You're like,
and in the past, my first reaction probably would have been to react with a fist.
Right.
But I had
grown from that.
I had needles in my ears, and I was in this state, and I just looked at him like, "You are very lucky right now that I'm in a new space."
Yeah. I've done all the healing. I'm not going to punch you.
But I think that's huge because I was like so white knuckled, so
Right.
clenched, so closed off to the world. You couldn't get within 6 feet of me. I mean, I lived in like COVIDville before COVID, right? Like I could not allow anybody in because I couldn't allow myself to drop into the felt sense of the body and see what was coming up for me.
Right. And we don't even realize that. We don't even realize what we're shutting off. You're shutting off people. You're also shutting off opportunities,
There you go.
and you don't even realize it.
Exactly. That goes back to what I was saying earlier. We are defined by our opportunities, missed or, the ones that we've been able to grab a hold of.
Yeah.
So, but we can't, say my life would have been different. And then like, you don't have time to think about that.
Right.
This is the life you have. What are you going to do with it going forward? That's just, it is what it is. That's what happened. And that we have to be able to decipher what we can and cannot control. So there's the serenity prayer, having the wisdom to know the difference between the two is so powerful.
Yeah. Accept the things you cannot change. Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
So in acceptance, you find the answers. Okay. Just, all right, this happened. This is happening.
Yeah.
What can I do in the midst of it all to find some peace, knowing that's happening and I can't do anything about it. Don't fight it. Okay.
Right.
Allow it to be here. Find some time to carve out to have some fun because you're already in the thick of it.
Right.
It's already happening. And like Diana Crane said, I saw her this morning for our resume workshop, and she always, every time I see her, I just see a freaking pumpkin because she's like, what's your pumpkin? So like when I'm struggling with so much, Murphy's Law, life is coming down on me.
Right.
I'm like, where's my pumpkin? How can I have fun?
Right.
Or, you know, and for me right now is trying to be creative with my new apartment.
Yeah.
That's what I have right now.
That's fun though. That's fun.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I want to do so many
Right.
things. I might just get a giant paintbrush and just like, I don't care.
Do what my husband does. He paints everything black and white. So, but I miss a little bit of color too, and it's fun to be able to explore that.
Yeah,
Try
I
different
think
things.
that's what's coming up for me is I think
Yeah.
I need to be creative right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And because there might not be words to describe how I'm feeling or what's coming up for me. And instead of holding on to it and trying to find a solution for everything, because that's what's happening. I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't fix this. This is
Right.
happening.
And you're trying all the things.
No.
Yeah.
Do what you know, research, learn, try to develop a new skill, grab hold of a new tool, try that out, sure. But getting creative, it's going to help, you know, navigate you to the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now I can't see past my own nose.
Right.
So I think once we get the watermarks going, things I've learned in like art therapy,
Yeah.
and just coming back to that, it's meditative in itself.
Yeah. Art therapy is amazing too. I really enjoy that. There's actually some really cool classes across the street for that.
At the Mesa Art Center?
Yeah, they offer free classes for veterans.
Their veteran peer support woman, Alicia, just joined our East Valley Women Veterans group. She reached out to me today because she had a veteran who was looking for, or yesterday, and she was looking for a like free or cheap gym membership for a veteran that came across. And she came to one of our wellness events, and she was like, I am an Army veteran, and I had no idea you guys were over here. And she goes, so I came here as like a reporter to see what you guys are up to.
Wow.
And she's like, now I want to be here. I want to be a part of things.
I love that.
And she's younger too, and that's we're trying to reach all the demographics out there.
Yeah.
And we have Cold War era, we have OIF, OEF, GWA, Vietnam. We have everybody that comes through here. It's cool. It's unique to see how we've all gone through and overcome different situations. So
That's what I love about veterans is they come from all different, walks of life, but we all come together and we need each other.
we do need each other. We need other organizations to come together and share resources so that we can best facilitate the success of the family that's coming in the door. Just brave enough to ask for the help.
Exactly. Because a lot of people don't even want to take that step to ask for help. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty in it, right? And they might not have any faith left because so many times it hasn't worked out. Or maybe they don't have faith left in themselves, and we need to help rebuild that faith within them.
Exactly.
Because we're all capable and we're all worthy of this. And we need a different tool. Can you show me a different tool?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Can you show me a different way? Can you help me see this differently?
Yeah.
You know, like I was
Sometimes
saying to
it's
you,
just having someone change your perspective on things.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying to you before the show is like, are you going through a breakdown or are you going through a breakthrough? How do you want to see this?
Right.
And I choose to see it as a breakthrough because I get to sit with it and say, this is what happened. This is how I'm going to overcome it. And I'm going to go this way this time
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Right. Sometimes you just need someone to change that perspective for you.
Yeah, but you can't just keep holding on to the same tool. I'm like, that's not working.
Right.
So
Yeah.
try something new.
Exactly. That's like, don't they say that's a definition of insanity?
It definitely is.
Yeah.
You got to learn to let go
Yeah.
and just embrace the uncertainty because it could be beautiful.
Yeah. It really can for sure.
Hmm. And then we can evolve into the next version of ourselves. And my dad says this all the time. He's like, it's never what you think.
That's so true.
In any scenario, it's never what you think it's going to be. So you don't know what you don't know. And you don't have to do it alone.
No.
We can
that's
do
the
this
thing is
together.
we always try to do it alone. And that's not always the best way to do things. It's never the way to do things. I've tried.
Well, doing things alone is very lonely. And you don't get a lot of, I think the more people that can support you through something, but I think you need a solid group of people that you can trust.
Yeah.
Because if you ask too many people for advice,
Right.
then you lose your own voice.
Oh, that's so true.
So learning how to trust your own voice, first finding your strength
Yeah.
and owning your own power. because you have it within you, right? Like I know I have it within me.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I first started working for the Home of Record Project, I had all these. I was so afraid to step into different roles or do certain things without asking questions because of other organizations that I had worked for. And I remember, and I don't know if they like the story or not, but I text them and I was like, I'm afraid to step on anyone's toes. Let me know if I'm stepping on anyone's toes. And Joe, one of the board members, said, step on the toes, like do it. And I just like was like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that because I was so afraid to do certain things because of the insecurities of other organizations that I worked for, you know. And it really helped me grow and develop and, you know, turn in, you know, just get to where I needed to be. And sometimes you need someone to just tell you like, yeah, it's okay to do that. Be yourself. Get to where you need to do what you need to do, you know. So sometimes you just need that person to put that in your ear.
Yeah, someone did that to me like 6 or 8 months ago. You know, I'm new to this role and everything, and I was like, I'm very boisterous. I talk with my hands, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with what do I do with my hands?
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm kind of aggressive and blunt and forward on things, and then I had some person tell me not to do all these other things, and so I said this is what this person told me not to do, and this guy goes. He goes, this is what sells. He goes, do that. Do you. Right. He's like, people need to hear that. That's your authenticity. Yeah. Show up like that. Exactly, yes, we want to hear that. That's that, you know, that's the inspiration right there. Mm-hmm. It's like that passion. Yeah. Like lead with your passion and like. And
you'll change lives. Sure.
F the haters.
Yeah.
And if they want to come with you, let's go. Right. But you know, I see something happening here, and I really want it to develop. I really want to cultivate this with other organizations because I see the need out there not being met.
Right.
And it's unacceptable. I can't do it by myself. I need the help from the experts that have been doing this for a while. Maybe they've gotten complacent. Maybe they know something I don't know.
Right.
But bring it on, you know, because one team, one fight. That's a real thing.
Exactly.
Like MVP, like we have to be a part of that.
Exactly. And I think learning from other people is really good too. You got to be open to learning new things also, you know?
Yeah. Being open-minded.
Right.
It's not going to hurt, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So thanks for being on the show. And
thank you. Thank you for having me.
If you could say if there is something missing in the veteran support community, I think we said a lot of things, but
I think we could use more volunteers. You know, we need more people to come in and help out because I mean we've come together and we've supported each other, and together we can do more. You know, and even if you are you're struggling at home and you really just need to get out of the house, I would highly recommend volunteering because you'll realize that you are around your people. You know. And you'll realize where you want to be and where you need to be and what your passion is.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And if people want to find you, they can go to the homeofrecordproject.org.
Yes.
And all the social medias.
Yes, Home of Record Project.
Yeah. And for you, how are you going to take care of yourself tonight?
I'm going to sleep because I have been going pretty hard the last couple days. So I just want to rest, sleep. But normally I'd be doing ice baths and all that stuff, but I just need to rest.
I need to hydrate because it's 130 god-awful degrees. And maybe take a play out of your book there because I definitely need to restructure, not taking on too much and know that it's all going to happen in the time it's supposed to.
Right.
But I can't take on the world.
Exactly.
I can't change the world by myself, but I can help try to change this community, and maybe this community can rise up and we can make an impact on the nation.
Exactly.
And this was a cool conversation.
Yeah.
I hope to have you on again as a panel with a whole wellness panel talking about, because I'm sure you have a lot more going on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot
it
more
goes deeper.
Yeah. Very deep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, next time we'll get deep on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing your story. That was really cool. And if you'd like to be on the show or highlight your organization and be a part of this coalition that we're trying to build here in the East Valley, you can absolutely do that by reaching out to us at azuravets.org, or you can reach out directly to me. My information is in the bio. And if you haven't heard it today, you're definitely worth it. and you can come in here and share your story, or you can recalibrate and rise at home just by looking within for the answers. You know, forget the noise. Just go inside and ask yourself, what's your pumpkin? What do you want to do for fun today that's going to open you up to be creative? And that way, it'll open you up to the solution that you're seeking right now. And if you're struggling and you don't want to call us or anybody else, know that the Veterans Crisis Line is there for you 24/7. Just dial 988 and press option 1. And if you want to give back to my organization or the Home of Record Project, please do. Show up and volunteer or donate. $5, $10. It's all going to go to direct services to the veteran who needs it today and offer them some hope. And don't forget to hydrate.
Yes,
see you next
hydrate,
time
drink water.
on the Spotlight.
Bye.